So this is my raw review, and I would say this was a pretty fine show. The thing is, I didn't see this show live. Like I saw some of it, like the end stretches. Like I saw the end stretches of the Karrion Cross and Sami Zayn match. I saw the EO versus Stephanie Vaquer match, and I saw the whole Roman Reigns and Jey Uso segment with the Bronze and Paul Heyman. Apart from that, the rest of the Raw I saw on YouTube clips that WWE releases, and from those YouTube clips, it seemed like there was nothing like really bad on the show apart from Grayson Waller like just breaking up with Austin Theory off screen because Theory is injured apparently. Can people confirm that? Is he injured? Because he was wrestling on main event, and it looks like they're forming some kind of faction with New Day and Grayson Waller, and they have been doing this for months. And this was on streaming, like because this was not on the ad section, like the Trick Williams promo or like the later Judgment Day promo which happened. This was on screen that people like would be seeing this. I just don't know what the end goal of this is, even if you add Grayson Waller there. Like, what does it do to enhance either the New Day or Grayson Waller? In a way, I'm happy for Grayson Waller that he's getting something to do. The thing is, New Day as heels are fun to me. It's just that the way they turned heel and with on who they turned heel, it was supposed to be something generational, which it did not end up to be. Otherwise, New Day is a fun heel team. Like when they lost and they were at backstage and was like, cash support and like Pierce is killing the tag division and Grayson Waller calling himself Big G. It's like that's funny. And also that AJ Styles literally dressed up as a janitor to scare Dominic. Just that. He probably mopped the floor for I don't know how many hours just for that one boo moment on Dominic, and probably to make sure that he doesn't get injured falling on the floor. And apart from that, the Roman segment, I think first that this crowd was mainly here for the tribal chief. Like you could see that. It's not like they didn't react to other stuff, but it did look like they were waiting. Like they were waiting when will Roman come out. Like the pop that Roman got, and then the OTC chants when he said to acknowledge me. The like be it children, be it men, be it women, the way that they pop, like that pop when he said acknowledge me H town, like was something else. And Roman essentially, the thing is he did aura farm a lot, but then it's Roman. And also there were things in the promos which were actually like important. Like he did say that Paul Heyman did have a role in forming the bloodline. But what he thinks is wrong is that he has a form in me staying the tribal chief. That I'm still the tribal chief because the people acknowledge me. Like for him, this is just another wrestling faction. For me, the bloodline is family. Like the only reason that I did stay champion was because of the help of the Usos, Solo, and even Sammy. This is kind of the first time that he has acknowledged that he needed help to win, but in a way it's kind of like very manipulative. Like the way he is saying it, it's kind of like he ran like the family in a very transparent way, that they helped him out of like the goodness of their heart and how good Roman is, rather than him like stepping up on them, always beating them down, like manipulating them. And Paul Heyman did help him with the title. Like people don't remember. Like WrestleMania 39, I did see on Twitter someone wrote that Paul Heyman did distract the referee, which caused Solo Sikoa to interfere and have Roman win. It's kind of like Roman. The thing is, Roman is so over that he comes back, he gives his own logics, which does kind of doesn't make sense, which is very manipulative as hell. But then people like cheer because it's the tribal chief. And Paul was very funny also because he was like, Seth is not here, so why don't you, like, we know about leadership, we are good together, why don't you join our faction? Which was very slimy for Paul Heyman and actually makes sense in character. Like he grabs onto whoever is relevant so that he stays relevant, and that's what he was proposing. And he even did like the acknowledge me sign after Roman did it, which was actually very funny. And Roman called him an asshole, he called him a dumbass, which kind of is like, if you look at it from like another perspective, that okay, Roman did kind of gaslight the audience. Like he did say that, I was out, raising the future bloodline, my kids, because Paul Heyman says that I was out for, just went on off my head, which is kind of true and false also. Like he did go on to raise kids, but man, you did abandon them too. It's not like you are a you're a working father. It's not like they need you every day. You can like, distribute the chores with your wife. You can have helpers. It like Paul Heyman was getting berated, was like essentially kidnapped by the bloodline, like always like fearing for his life, until eventually he did get put through a table and you were just out and they were chanting for you every week. It kind of makes sense, it kind of doesn't. It's kind of like Roman Reigns' logic, and people like it, and I like it also. Though the last line was, like Braun Breaker was fine on the mic. It's just that he needs to like really emphasize on certain words in a promo, and he also needs to like stick to the line. Like when you as a wrestler give a promo, you at certain stages you have to like change your facial expressions or have the landing on a certain word in a certain way, which I didn't think Braun had. It was not due to him being across Roman. It's just that Braun has had this in his promos. He just says stuff in like with one expression on his face, where he kind of like needs to go like from this aggression to like third aggression, from this to that. And Braun essentially said that he is the big dog now, that you're irrelevant, you should do just one thing, which is leave. And then Roman was like, you know what, I didn't hear anything that you just said. So, grab this mic and tell me again. So he throws the mic, Superman punch. I think Roman really had to like think about it, even though it was probably pre-written. The line was fine. I think he probably thought the impact would be more than he thought it would be, but the crowd popped. He Superman punched. I think the sequence after that, like throwing the mic, Superman punching him and Bronson Reed, but then getting speared by Braun Breaker. Then Jay coming out, him getting the ooh so, and then them hitting double spears on Bronson and Braun Breaker. And I think and they stood tall in the end. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna. And one thing I really like this time is that Jay is really getting his moments alongside Roman. That Roman is finally doing what we kind of needed him to do in like the Gunther feud, or like his journey after becoming the Royal Rumble winner. Like him being in the spotlight, Roman being like, yeah, look at him, he is the guy. Like even last week or this week, like Jay is kind of one who's getting the acknowledgement from Roman. We kind of needed that, during his world title reign or after he became the Royal Rumble winner, but it was fine. And I think they're probably gonna announce a match next week to get those like last week boosts before the pay per view, because I think, yeah, they're not gonna announce it just right now. You're probably gonna get more matches announced uh, at SmackDown also. I can see Black versus Priest added. I don't see Julia making the SummerSlam card. I hope she gets a defense at least on SmackDown next week. Maybe do something this week so that she gets a defense next week, and then after SummerSlam maybe plan something bigger for her. And one thing is that I can also see like the SmackDown tag titles making, because you kind of need like a ladder match or something. One thing is that this SummerSlam has a lot of no disqualification matches. Like Becky versus Lara is a no disqualification. I don't know why they have to mention no countouts and no DQs. No DQs are generally no countouts. Like their segment essentially was that Becky said that this is the last time that you're going to challenge for the Intercontinental title. It didn't have the caveat that till I am champion. I mean, this goes in a singular way, that the person who is given this kind of stipulation usually wins. The thing is, they can have Lyra lose also, because they have been showing this, that Bailey lost last week to Lyra. She got pinned by Becky at Evolution. This week also she got pinned. So I think they're kind of setting up like whose side is Bailey gonna choose at SummerSlam. And it kind of makes sense for her to choose Becky's side, not because she likes Becky, because one thing is that Lyra has always got the best of her. In her mind, in a way, Bailey's going like, maybe if Lyra was not there at Evolution, maybe I could have won that match. And even here, that Becky took out Lyra in the Raquel and Roxanne versus Bailey and Lyra for the Women's Tag Team Championship match. So she wasn't able to get a tag. Even in there, they protected her a lot. Like Raquel had a blind tag. She hit her with a Tahana bomb from the back, like evil, and then did a pin. Becky had an interference. In a way, it made sense for Bay to give Bailey a rematch. It didn't make sense why are Bailey and Lyra Valkyria teaming up, because Lyra, in a way, maybe, but in a way because like Liv and Raquel did beat Lyra and Becky for the championships on Raw. It's not like Lyra is owed a rematch. So that didn't kind of make a lot of sense. It did make sense that why is Bailey getting a rematch, not made sense why is Lyra there too. So the match was fine. It really had Raquel stood out. I think now that because Roxanne is there, Liv is not there, and as Liv was the star, so that Raquel, even despite her height and her size differences, had to play very second fiddle to her. It's kind of like she is getting the spotlight here and Roxanne is a rising star. It makes sense with Roxanne's character to be the feisty little cat that she is. And the women's tag team titles have been defended like two times in under a month, so that's also good news. Though I want to see what happens at SummerSlam. In a way, it looks like they're setting up something with Kabuki Warriors and Io and Rhea. Like, I can see the Kabuki Warriors maybe interfering in their SummerSlam triple threat because there is something happening there. Kabuki Warriors did lose to Judgment Day. They're not involved in the women's titles. So Io is. There is some kind of tension there. I can see that happening. One thing I also like is that Becky wearing the red thing, like acknowledging the Becky Hogan stuff. And in the end, I think I'm glad that they have a stipulation because according to their feud, it makes sense. And in the end, Becky was like, shake my hand. Lara just gives her a manhandle slam. And I'm liking it. Though I can see easily like Bailey being the better person again that she's always in her career, and Lyra wins, and Becky then attacks uh, Bailey on the next row and be like, you know, you lost because of Lyra and all that, and still like an idiot, you choose to help her, and then Becky and Bailey can finally have a non-title feud. It's just that if Lyra is Intercontinental champion, who does she go up against? Like, who is there for her to face? What, Ivy Nile again? Like, who is there for her to face again? Stephanie is going to get involved in Naomi. If you're not bringing Rhea and Io to go into the IC title division, they're not really much people. And if you're having Kabuki Warriors going up against Rhea and Io, there's really not going to be anyone for Lyra to face. Though, if Bailey turns heel, then you can have a Becky versus Bailey singles feud also for like Clash at Paris or going further. Though in a way it will be like Bailey would be kind of be like against Becky, kind of like the heel who is also kind of a face because she betrayed Lyra, and then maybe Lyra can come back, cost Bailey the match, and then Becky can go forward. But aside from that, you don't really have stuff. You had also AJ interfering her. He was a crew guy. Like AJ was a janitor. He was a crew guy. He was a medic too apparently. Like checking up Dominic. Like AJ was in like what, three segments, and it was essentially that Dominic had to get himself checked, and like he gave an ultimatum, and in the end Dom attacked AJ and was like, you know, I'm cleared and I'm challenging and I'm facing AJ at SummerSlam for the championship, and the people cheered. Like earlier when they were supposed to have a match at Clash at Crown Jewel, right? Then at Clash of Champions, nobody really cared. They have a proper feud right now. In a way, you should have AJ win because he he went through so much to just get a title match, and in the end, if he loses, it's kind of like it all was kind of for nothing, right? Maybe what you can do is maybe add Finn here. Maybe because of Finn's inadvertent interference, AJ wins. You can have like a triple threat feud, or maybe Dom still wins. You can add AJ Finn there and maybe have like a triple threat feud. LWO won their match for the number one contendership. One thing that I know is Tyler Bate is not injured. Maybe Pete Dunne is, but if he is not, I hope the next challengers are Newcastle Republic, because one thing is that this will probably happen next week. You had El Grande Americano interfering here. I can see probably in the future American Mid and El Grande Americano getting on the same page going up against LWO. You know Dragon Lee is not going to win. It's going to be the first feud eventually. Penta will get added there, Ray will get added there eventually. I think Chad Gable will get added there too when he returns. So this is gonna go for a while. I don't mind it. I think it's fun. At least they're doing something with Dragon Lee. They're doing something with Kaiser. In the end, they won. It was a fine match from what I saw on YouTube, and they're gonna lose because El Grande Americano is gonna interfere. But they showed out. They really showed out, and they showed the WWE brass that if you book us consistently, we will give you great matches. And the people were chanting for LWO when they did like the LWO, and they cheered when they won. So if you give them a chance, they will do good stuff. And also, like, you had Trick like calling out Undertaker in like the ad break. You had Cross versus Sami Zayn, and from what I saw, it was slow. I saw the ending sequence, but it was fine to me. It was not really that great to me, but it was slow. It was fine. It maybe because I didn't watch the full match, I don't have like an anger towards it. I think it was just fine. I can see them adding this at SummerSlam because they just have Sami Zayn randomly return on this Raw. I think it would have been better to do like a reveal or something. And then one thing is this is ending in Sami winning, so they're probably gonna have Sami versus Cross at SummerSlam or maybe the Raw after SummerSlam, and it's gonna be like a no disqualification or something because Cross did cheat here to win. He busted his nose on the Exploder, and they're going forward with pushing Karen Cross. Like it does feel like whenever Sammy faces Cross next, he's gonna beat him and then probably go back to feuding with the Seth Rollins faction because they did beat his ass a lot. And aside from that, like I think everything was fine. There was nothing like wrong that happened on this show. You also had Rusev. So So you had Rusev versus Sheamus too. I think it was a perfectly fine match. People were really into it. Maybe not. I think from what I saw the best hits on YouTube. So I can't really judge, and so I can't really judge which match was better. In the end, Sheamus won because Rusev tried to hit him with the shillelagh, but he got a broke kick. Though I think ref could have been fast because it kind of looked like he was fixing the turnbuckle rope for too long. It kind of made Rusev look a little bit weak. I just hope that this feud goes into like turbo mode from now. We get stuff every week because it's like this feud has been going on for a while, but it just doesn't move in a consistent fashion. Like Aleister Black and Damian Priest have not been feuding for that long, but their feud have gone from this to this in just a few weeks, in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, while they have been feuding for almost 2 months, and they have had a second match, but it's like slow turtle speed. And I hope they have Rusev do more vignettes, probably do a Donnybrook match. Does this make SummerSlam? Like they just had a match this week. I don't think they're gonna do a match next week. Maybe the Raw after SummerSlam, you do like a Sheamus versus Rusev Donnybrook match, have Rusev win. I just hope they do more vignettes for Rusev and keep putting him in feuds. Like though Jay is involved with this Seth faction and all, but a Rusev and Jay Uso feud, like it's pretty easy to book. Like Rusev can be like, your eating stuff is not your true potential and everything. Like it's a pretty easy stuff to book. Jay is an over baby face. You can do stuff with that because I don't think Rusev, even if he wins this feud, is going to directly go into the IC title stuff. it depends. Maybe if AJ becomes champion, Rusev can be his first contender, but I don't see him winning the IC title. So you have to, I do hope that Rusev and Sheamus can be in the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Though I know Gunther is champion, Gunther versus Sheamus again, but it's like I'm not saying they should win the titles, but they should be in the division. Like they can have really great matches. I'm glad for Bronson Reed that he's getting involved in a big match at SummerSlam, though he's kind of like the fourth most important person there. But it's good. LA Knight was not here. I think LA Knight is probably going to interfere at SummerSlam. He's probably going to be the reason that Roman and Jay win. He's probably going to like rake the eyes of Braun Breaker and be like, "You defeated me by cheating," and then they win. And probably if Seth cashes in and becomes champion, he's I think LA is going to be his first opponent because it makes sense that LA did beat Seth. Seth's going to be his LA is going to be his first opponent, and then probably some new member will join to cause Seth to win against LA Knight. That's what's going to happen because Paul did mention he's out for a long time. I don't think he is. Let's see what happens with that. And Gunther versus CM Punk segment was nothing special, but it was fine. Like CM Punk acknowledged how great Gunther is, and Gunther was like I will make you regret, like usual Gunther stuff. Like he was getting watered, he was getting you tapped up chants, but he countered them very successfully. He turned down the what chants because when he said that I'm going to choke you out, the same stuff he said to Goldberg, and he was like, "You're gonna regret stepping up to me." Like it was the usual stuff, nothing special, but it was fine for a first segment. Though I would have liked if they had 2 more weeks to build up, and next week you're probably gonna have CM Punk really dig in. Like he's gonna really dig in. This week CM Punk was kind of left speechless by Gunther because Gunther was just like so in his zone. He was like, "You're gonna regret ever." And then when they were doing the "You tapped out" chant, I think he ad libbed because he said that. And in the end, like it doesn't really matter. At least you get these degenerates appreciation, and then they were like boo. And I think Gunther really like in the end owned this segment because he first stopped the what chants and then he stopped the "you tapped out" chants. I don't know why people are angry with the "you tapped out" chants. Just because he's not in a feud with Jay, people are saying this to Gunther because they're like, Gunther is saying dastardly stuff in the ring. He's going up against baby faces who we like, so we're gonna bring up embarrassing stuff that happened to him. And that has been Gunther's character in WWE on the main roster. Like he is an asshole who does get overconfident and loses because he gets overconfident because the baby faces shows ultimate resilience. Like they fight against him, they put their 100% effort, and they go up against him. That's what like Gunther's essential story is. Like, and whenever the baby faces actually stand up to him, he gets scared and he scours away, like he did against Jay. He did it against Goldberg. He did it against CM Punk also, where like CM Punk pushed him and he didn't do anything against him because he got scared. He even did that against Jey Uso. So that's his character here. You want his character to be different. I get it. But according to his character, it makes sense that he gets heat. The only thing that you can get like be against is the what chance, but he crushed it there. So Gunther shows why he's world champion. And probably next week, what we're gonna get CM Punk giving his jabs to Gunther, and probably we'll get a pull apart brawl or something, and that's gonna lead to their match at SummerSlam. That's what's gonna happen. And probably whatever CM Punk says in his promo is what gets you excited for that match at SummerSlam. And they also kind of wanted Roman Reigns, and I was like, why? And then they stopped. But overall, fine Raw. Like I don't know what to say. Like 3 out of 5 Raw, 3.5. I don't know what to give this show. What rating should I give this show? But that was my review. What did you think about this show? Tell me in the comment section. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account. Links are in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID, which is shabboy@okicici, is also in the description. And also, like the EO Stephanie match happened, which was really great. Crowd was not into it. Bad. In the end, Chelsea and everyone interrupted. I do think probably Nikki is gonna be at SmackDown. They'll do like an all-star tag, which Ibu said. We'll probably get Stephanie and Nikki, and probably Brie Bella versus the Secret Herbis at SummerSlam. And in the end, uh, Stephanie, Io, and Rhea were standing tall. Stephanie was bleeding. Naomi was taken out, and that's what they're setting up going forward. SummerSlam and then after SummerSlam. So I've already told you about following my socials. Also follow my Instagram account, which is in the description, and go donate any amount of money which you can, which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option on my UPI ID, which is sharpboy@okicici, so that I can make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it from me for today. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.